Good morning. It's October 10th, 2023. Now, as you will see from the topic, this sounds like one of those classic how to save and get rich videos. There are many of them, as you know. Passive income, passive this. First of all, let me explain you what will be different in my videos. I will not offer you similar things like use these channels, use these videos, make these videos. Those are obvious to a person that uses the media during their daily life. They already know that you can make money if you exceed certain amounts in YouTube right now with in X, which used to be Twitter, things like that. But first of all, I have to make a brief comment. Even if you are working for someone, like in California, if you are working for a fast food giant, it's $20 an hour, okay? And that's not a bad pay. If you multiply that, like in Turkey, a month is 220 hours of work. If you are working with salary, that's calculated based on 220 hours. 45 hours per week, roughly. So if you work 220 hours for a month in, let's say, daytime job, no additional, this 8 hours a day business, let's say, or extended 9 hours a day, not working on Saturday, Sundays, I don't think that you have that option in fast food business because it's the most common days that when you make money and work harder on Saturdays and Sundays. I used to own a Subway restaurant. I came to the United States. I came to Connecticut when Subway franchise was only 3,000, 4,000 units. And I came and took the, let's say, franchise agreement and training with a partner of mine. I was actually running Coca-Cola plant in Turkey at the time. I took my time off. I took my summer vacation time and used that for the Subway restaurant franchise training. I was not going to actually run the restaurant, but Subway had a certain criteria. We said we're going to hire a manager, so he's going to run the business anyway. So why do you want to train us? They said, what if the manager runs away and goes away? Are you going to close the store? So you have to learn how to make the sandwiches yourself. So that's why we came to Connecticut and spent about a month there through training. And then we opened 2 stores afterwards in Turkey, both in Izmir, Turkey. The reason I'm explaining all this wasn't my only business, how do you say, entrepreneurship. I can say I tried at least 60 different entrepreneurships, including fast food franchises, furniture business, wooden furniture business, vending. I'm the first person who officially started vending when the Turkey started producing bigger coins than worthless coins. Like you have 25 cents in the US, which is still for many years, but with inflation is fading away. So you must have a 50 cents or $1 in coins. So, and these machines were manual machines, so they cannot recognize like in Coca-Cola machines or, electronic machines. They just recognize the size and the length of the coin. So they don't have anything electronic in them. So I started this business thinking when these new coins came out with the big denominations. I went to Paris and I took some distributorships from American, German, Italian, Spanish companies. And when the money was introduced to the public, I had already had my machines prepared according to those coins, which I received by paying some deposit to the Turkish how to say central bank, and they gave me the initial samples before it was being introduced to the public, so I could send the coins to the US or Europe, and so I can have the machines prepared accordingly, and then imported the machines to Turkey. And I wanted to start small, and I wanted to get like 30, 40 machines, and then in time increase my route, vending route. But it ended up my friends started asking, I want 20 machines, I want 30 machines. So I ended up becoming a wholesaler. So I had about 4,000 vending machines in a couple of months, and was selling all over Turkey. And plus, I had to provide the things that are sold inside these machines, which were, you sell a machine once, but the interior you continuously have to sell. So, assuming each machine was selling one toy capsule, which has a toy inside with what we call capsule, plastic capsules. If it one sells seven in a month, it's three times seven, 210 each. This is just an average sale. And imagine 4,000 machines selling every day, 210. So I became the biggest toy industry, seller. Although I never intended to sell toys, I imported machines from Canada selling stickers and tattoos, and All Star, the name was. Then I bought vending machines, chewing gum, and uh, how do you call rubber balls, let's say, small rubber balls dispensed from these machines. And Beaver was again a Canadian brand, which is a very trustable, dependable brand. You probably seeing that all over the US for many, many years. So going through like this, the first couple of years, I got the arrangements. I even had to make the tax arrangements in Turkey because this wasn't a business before. So I said, how I'm going to report the taxing for this, because it doesn't produce any receipts, anything. So they had to invent the way to how can I report my taxes annually. So I'm giving these examples that entrepreneurship is an active making money, acting way of making money. When I was in States for a job, I took as a second job after leaving the work around 5 o'clock. I used to go start doing my export, import, and sales business to jewelers in the Williamsburg, Norfolk, Williamsburg area, Newport News, Williamsburg area in Virginia. So I was very enthusiastic to do some business, my own business, even though I was making the most of my money from a payroll business. But I was always, even during the payroll business, although I was a finance person, I was curious to learn other things. So I wanted to own a computer machine, but I cannot buy a computer machine in Turkey. I was working with an American, let's say, base. So I asked a friend, if you can lend me, I will pay you full amount, and you just lend me your computer machine, because they couldn't sell. They have to take it out of the country. So he lent me his machine, and I said, it was a Commodore 20, VIC 20, a very low amount of RAM, and they had a tape, no hard disk, nothing. And he bought a Commodore 64, with the amount of money I gave him. So with that, just learning basic, I started going to private courses in Turkey, which were initially just starting, COBOL, Fortran, different languages. As I said, I am a finance-based guy, but it paid off. After 6, 7 months, I was attending these courses. A job opening was in Virginia, and they said, we need someone who knows finance, and we want him to run the IBM 36 system in the base. So I said, okay, that's me. So we applied 3 person, and I got the job. That's how I went to States, and it's a long story. In the future videos, I can tell you more about them. But as I said, even though it was a whole new world for me, with 36 terminals, running the computer, doing the financial business in the same time, I was still eager to do additional business. And so I had a partnership with a friend of mine, Benjamin Franklin Farrell. And I said, you can set up a job, I will just help you importing and help you marketing these products. So we imported jewelry and other stuff, and we opened up a serious business without a warehouse, from home. But in the end, we grew it to a size that we had to import a 40-foot container of goods. So and then as my 3 year working schedule was over, they offered me an indefinite contract. But I said, okay, I live this now. There is more expecting me in my life. So I left it to Ben and Benjamin, and I said, okay, now good luck with the business. And I came back to Turkey. Again, I took many different jobs. I like to learn and try, you know. Then if somebody tells me I've been doing this job for 40 years and I'm retiring, I say, what a waste of life, you know. To me, I just worked a couple of years. I ran feedlots for McDonald's in Turkey. I ran Coca-Cola canning plants and as directors, as finance directors, and worked for different many companies like retail store outlets. Whenever a new retail outlet store, which was called in Turkey Tansash, like your Walmart, it was 100 units. I started it to 300 units. So I like excitement. I like to set up the feedlots, you know, bring the biggest feedlots to Turkey. And then when I retired, I was advising many companies with my knowledge in all these different fields. I'm also knowledgeable on seeds, you know, corn seeds, and I was advising a corn seed company as well in agriculture as well. So it's a very wide range of, how can I say, from fast food to, you know, imports, exports, everything. So it's good because then you can always apply the ideas not seen in one area to another area. So that way, but in the end, after I fully retired during the COVID, let's say, cervasis disease, they call it. YouTube doesn't want us to say that name. Now maybe they don't care, but before it was like that. So after that time, I had to stay home because they banned the people to leave the house. So I started my YouTube channel. I started with 3, 4, 5 people. You know, I didn't even tell my friends to check me out. You know, I'm on YouTube today. So, but it grew eventually. Right now, in 3 years, I have a Turkish channel on how to make money from money or how to increase your wealth, which has about 280,000 followers. And I video tape daily. And recently, this is my third video, I decided to tape because investing and saving money does not differ from country to country. Rules may differ, you know, in the daily life, like the percentage of interest rates, inflation rates. But I am very experienced on working under very, very high inflation. So I can guide you because now US has very high inflation. Last 3 years, your money lost 25%. Okay, that's one fourth of the value, and you are still being tricked by checking like an oil barrel is $88. It's up. It should go to 50, 60. Well, $88 is no longer $88, and they did not correct their graphics. You know, I'm an expert on technical analysis as I made other analysis. But technical analysis tables, if the inflation was 1%, 2%, you can use. But right now, at 25% of inflation, that technical analysis chart is worth nothing, you know, and it must be inflation adjusted. So right now, for example, as I'm based in an inflationary country, I calculate the gold right now is in 1862. I think it was this morning, 1862. I use my famous solar calculator. I have other devices, but this is the main computer here. So times 0.75, I reduced 25% in purchasing power of the US dollar. So gold is only $1,400 worth right now. So it's cheap as dirt, I can tell you. So when somebody tells you, nobody explains you this, gold is going to be $3,000, $4,000. So you must have a case to say that. Is it the requirements coming up? None of it. It's because gold is not heavily used in industry. It's not like silver, but or copper. So basically, the value of US dollar is going down. So you don't have to do anything so for it to take the prices up. It's like housing, cheap housing. You buy, and then years after it keeps going up in price because the building material prices keep going up. So I am also an expert on real estate, especially real estate on mortgage. I bought more than 10 mortgage real estate houses. The advice there is the reason it is bearing an interest, which is a cost, but the good side is except the house, nobody, no bank will give you more than twice your asset. Let's say you are a factory owner, which is worth $1 million. The most a bank will give you will be $500,000 loan. But the same person, if he wants to buy a house for $1 million, he just have to down pay 200,000. Pay the down payment, 800,000, five times or four times more than he invested, the banks will willingly give him. Okay. And of course, interest rates are important, but it's not because you can always HELOC or reinvest or uh, request a new loan against your old loan when the rates go down. So even if you get a loan for 8% this year, let's say things go better and inflation comes down to the levels Fed wants, and it's, let's say, 3% now, 2% now, fine, then you can just go and close that mortgage and open up a new mortgage with a very small cost. But because mortgage prices are very high, if you can find a very good deal, you just buy it right now. But okay, the deal is this. In the US, there is a strange thing happening right now. Although the prices, interest rates are going up, prices of the houses in some areas are also going up instead of going down because you assume people will ask for less houses because the interests are high. But the people in the US, the houses are sold, four-thirds of them are sold on loans, no cash payment. Like in my country, Turkey, it's different. We are very rich. Only 1% of or 25% of 15% to 20 are sold on loans, mortgages, rest is sold cash, yeah. So it's a totally different area. So because it's all sold and bought mostly on loans, people who have low mortgage rates at 3.5%, they don't want to sell their house to buy a new house at 8%, which doesn't bring much houses for sale on the market. So this strange thing happens. Prices go up when people don't want to buy more houses. Okay. And so there will be many tricks I can apply for loans. Even for people who have cash money, I would never cash buy a house. Okay. I will definitely buy, instead of one, I would buy two houses if I have enough credit and enough cash. Never one house, all cash. Even if I am to buy just one house and I don't care for a second house, I will only make the down payment, and with the rest of my money, I will buy at a minimum US government bonds paying 5%. Okay, the interest rate is 8%, and I'm paying 5%, getting 5% for 30 years. My mortgage is 30 years as well. So how much interest will I be paying? 3%. Okay, 3%. As long as I have the government bonds and guaranteed and the house. So instead of just hedging the house with the bonds, I'm hedging the bonds against the house real estate as well. So this type of different areas you will be hearing from me, where a small investor can also use these facts for his fast growth through different application. There, you don't have to go find very awkward investments like this crypto, that NFT, this and that. No need for that. It's all in front of you. You just have to find the right deal and just bargain it and just check the values, make the calculation, use your very expensive calculator. You are done. Okay, this is a longer than I expected video, but every time I will come with a new one. Now, you have to start saving money to start making money. Okay, you make money from money in the beginning. So if you're not working, so to save your money, you must think every dollar you didn't spend that day and you saved and invested in something. It can be gold, silver, doesn't matter, some sort of equity or mutual fund, it doesn't matter. That's a soldier or a worker, as I put in the title of this cover of this video. It's a worker who's going to work for you lifetime, as long as you want him to work for you. So you have 30,000 of them. You have 30,000 employees working for you. You are the employer. And you decide if you want to keep them working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's possible. It's easily possible, even not from this, but from the other computer. Okay, the mobile phone. Okay, so I advise heavily to keep saving and investing, even with small amounts. You will see how quickly it keeps going up. It keeps becoming a snowball, becoming a big pile of snow rolling down the hill. So this is obvious. This is told in many videos, probably you are watching, but you must start somewhere. You want to buy a house, you need to have a good credit as well. Credit is very important in my investment advices. You must have good credit record, okay? Because that's the only way you get 4 to 1 and increase instead of increasing at the speed of 1 to 1, you can increase at the speed of 5 to 1. Because if you buy a house for $200,000, for example, I know median house is around $400,000 in states. If you buy a $200,000 house with the only, if it's your first house, you probably have to pay 4% down instead of 20. But let's say 20. You save that money. You save the closing papers and closing money. Then you just buy the house and the rent pays the rest itself. So you don't have to worry about it, because a common American house should be, if it's a good investment house or an apartment, should pay in 120 months rent should equal the price of the house. Okay, and it shouldn't be very old, and it shouldn't create you problems, repairs, this and that. So it's the rent pays you itself. So you end up owning the house. Of course, house is made up of 40-50% land. So land never gets old, dilapidated. House can. So that's how you start five-fold money, and that house gains, let's say, in 5 years from 200,000 to $400,000. The $200,000 made is all yours. Nothing belongs to the bank. Okay, it's all yours. It's your equity. So you make sudden rich. Now you can think of, instead of starting with $20,000-$30,000, now you have $250,000 to grow, and you can choose to grow it in real estate funds, mutual funds, gold, silver. That we will talk in the future. I wish you all the good luck, all the best. Just believe that every dollar is a new employee, okay? And start saving today if you haven't. Good luck, good day from Turkey. If you have any questions about inflation and other things that you cannot understand, you can always ask me. I'm reading all the remarks and trying to answer them all, okay? And I know most of my followers are from my Turkish channel. They are trying to improve their English in economic terms. But as a foreigner, you can also get very good use of my knowledge especially in inflation environment. That's my career. I work for Fortune 500 companies in the U.S. And so I'm not just a small shop owner. So I know what's going on and what will go on. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the war and this and that today. It's already 24 5 minutes. I will keep coming up with new videos, probably every other day or something. Depends. If it's something very brand new things pops up, in my mind, I'll just do the video right away. Okay. Good luck and happy days.